Hey everybody, it's Pajama Life with our review of the Alabama Solution Becoming in Starfleet Academy. Let's go.
I know you're grieving, but I want to tell you that your son was murdered.
If you're an inmate in Alabama prison, you're probably praying every night that nothing bad happens to you.
We have record numbers of people leaving out of here in body bags. They don't want the public to see what's really going on the inside.
The state is settling one lawsuit after another. There's no consequences for their actions.
It's not the inmate that's killing them folks. It's the guards.
There's an argument that there is some systemic problem within all of our facilities, and I wholeheartedly disagree with that.
Their biggest fear is to see us come together on one accord.
We got to take our power back. We have to come together and make a stand that our life is worth something.
We have been taking life and death risk to get this information out.
Hey everybody, it's Pajama Life. With me are Patrick and David. Say hey. Let's jump into it.
Hey everybody.
Okay, let's talk about the Alabama Solution. David, what did you think?
Not shocked by this.
I was. Oh wow. Okay.
When you hear the thing, you hear the slogan, "Land of the free, home of the brave," and we got a lot of work to do on that. The problems in America's prisons are horrific, and they've had some twists and turns, but I was not surprised by what we saw, what was shared in this, and kind of the state of what it is, because we've got so many people in prison, and so many of the prisons, even before they were officially for profit, there was basically free labor there for state governments. And it was kind of built into the soup as to how state budgets would run, in particular throughout the South. So when I hear the stories, and when I see these issues, even the best of guards, the people, the good, the truly good people who get those jobs, you can't be in that environment without it changing you. And I think that it's an environment that just worsens. So illuminating, I think this was powerful. Do I have an answer? Not yet, but for-profit prisons are not the way, and we've got to have really strong internal controls and a high level of integrity in leadership to fix this. But this was a moving documentary. So that's on a somber way. I was really hoping it was going to be, when I saw that title, I would have thought is like, oh, okay, we're going to figure out how to get Alabama football back after Nick Saban retired.
Oh, Lord.
We weren't there. I almost didn't make that bad joke, but I had to bring a little bit of levity to what was a somber and powerful documentary. What about you guys?
Yeah, I think it's true that this has now become, the prison system has become modern day slavery.
Yeah.
I mean, you have these corporations who are hired and hire these guys. They pay them nothing. They're doing a lot of labor that, there's an employment crisis out there that other Americans could be doing. But of course, with our greedy corporations, they're able to figure out a way to get this labor and not pay people. The conditions are deplorable. And I don't think that because you're in prison, you give up your civil rights. I know some people believe that, but I don't. I mean, there is basic human decency. And this wasn't it at all on any level. I mean, if we had seen this in another country, it would be Geneva Convention kind of things talking about.
Yeah.
And these men had the wherewithal to use cameras, and I'm sure those cameras were snuck in to record their position, what was happening, and that the documentarians were able to get this kind of footage is really incredible. And this is the same executive producers who did the Jinx. That was, really powerful. And I think we really need to address what is going on in this country, because now they're trying to build these mega prisons that are supposed to house detained immigrants. But if they're immigrants, how come we're not sending them back to their countries? Why are
Thank
we
you.
building multi-billion-dollar facilities to hold these people? That's because they're probably going to be asked to do labor.
Well, and respectfully, Pam, I do, and I don't want to take time away from you or Pat, but we calling them prisons and detention places. There's another phrase for it.
Yep.
Concentration camps. And
Yep.
again, if we're looking to remove those folks, as you said, we don't need to invest millions and millions of dollars in structuring warehouses that were never designed or intended for this purpose.
No.
So there, you know, you're creating a system that is built on having slave labor and immigrants. Because I got to tell you, at this point, ain't nobody going to want to come over across a border. They're not gonna seek asylum here. They're not gonna come over here to do this when you see how that they're treated without the dignity of a human being. And we can all talk about immigration laws, immigration reform, how to do things. But when you lose humanity and decency and build concentration camps, you've lost the argument. And that's what we're doing as a country.
Yep. And I just think that there's also a level of racism in this. And that you have people, and look at what the prisons, they even said, you're not getting the best of the best.
Yeah.
You're getting the least and the worst to be these guards. And you get people who are, some of them, the ones they interview, seem very sociopathic to me. And so you do not want somebody like that who is a guard. So it's definitely a crisis that we do need to address in our system. And before, I mean, the nature of how you treat incarcerated people shows what kind of country you are. So that is what's going on. Pat, what do you think of the doc?
Well, it was horrible. I mean, but a well done documentary, but the actual subject matter and the depiction was incredibly horrible. You know, to be honest, this is, as we're having kind of this side discussion about not just the documentary, which was, as we say, very good, well done. It depicted people that could have done heinous things. They didn't even really talk about the crimes because all the crimes were being done to them at this point.
Yeah.
Once, you know, and you know, if you do a crime, yes, you do give up some civil rights. You don't get to run around wherever you want to anymore. You give up a few, but you still get life, and you still have a right to food. If they're going to hold you in a place, you should be able to eat. You should be able to have sanitary conditions. That is the point of you taking them. The problem is what we're really running into is, not to sound like a raging socialist, but late stage capitalism. Here we are. Everybody's got to make money on everything. And since we've taken the prison systems out of government, which used to be a not-for-profit thing, it's totally for profit now. Don't kid yourselves. Now that it's for profit, they're going to try to maximize the profit. They're going to give you the crappiest food with the least amount of people. They're going to pack as many because they're getting paid by the inmate, either from the state or from the federal, depending on what type of a detention center you're dealing with. And, you know, we are gilding the lily quite a bit when we call them detention centers and prisons. They are concentration camps, and they showed it very starkly. And, you know, it's shame on us, all of us. We're all members of the society that has said this is fine. And we looked the other way when this was happening. We decided to privatize everything. Everything is privatized. Most of the military, large chunks of it are privatized because there's money there. Maybe we could find a way to do that first. Let's get the money out of the government, and that would be the first thing we could do. Let's quit making corporations feel like they can donate money to every candidate, and they're not buying them, they're just renting them. It's totally different. It's fine if we're just renting them for their term, you know. And we'll call them later and say, hey, remember that time when I gave you that $20 million for your campaign ads? Ooh, hook me up, because this is going through. This is really going to hit my bottom line. Yeah. Well, the legislators don't work for us anymore. The government right now is having serious issues with working for the people, unless your name happens to be IBM or Facebook or Meta or whatever. Then you've got representation. Us, they just try to get you to hate the other person, and here we are. This is a great example of how they've done it. They've told you that these people are deplorable, they're horrible, they're vicious killers, and some of them have made mistakes. Some of them might need to be locked up for a while because they haven't reformed. But you know what? There's no attempt to reform these people.
No,
it's all
just house them, make them work until they drop.
Punish.
Well, there ain't no profit in rehabilitation with a for-profit prison.
If you lose them through getting better, you can't get that back. So
you don't get repeat customers.
Yeah. So hopefully people go out and watch this, because God forbid you end up in a prison.
Yeah.
Forbid. I don't think this is good for Alabama's tourism, because I sure don't want to go. All right. Up next, something a little bit more inspiring in a different way. Let's check out Becoming, the Michelle Obama documentary.
I am from the south side of Chicago. It was a typical working class community. Some good music, some good barbecue, some good times. That tells you as much about me as you need to know. So little of who I am happened in those 8 years. So much more of who I was happened before. We can't afford to wait for the world to be equal to start feeling seen. I feel like I gotta share with you all that the energy that's out there is much better than what we see. My mother would say, Michelle and Barack Obama aren't special. There are millions of Michelle and Barack Obamas all over the world. If we can open up a little bit more to each other and share our stories, that's what breaks down barriers. Wow, this is totally me, unplugged for the first time.
All right. Oh boy, did I love this documentary. I thought it was an interesting way to go about it in terms of her book tour and then her talking about her life. So you got the past and the present, which was really interesting. And of course, you see the love and admiration that people have for the First Lady, and how beautiful she is to have those conversations with the young women. I mean, I can't even imagine being able to sit in a room with a First Lady and then her just talk to you as if she's just your big sister. And I was like, wow. And she, like she said, she's been in some of the most important rooms in the world. And here she is taking time to sit with these girls. And I just thought that was one of the most powerful things that she could do, was to give of herself back to the next generation. That's the most important thing we can do. And unlike other First Lady, who has no interest in anybody, you see someone who's intelligent, who's loving, who has a husband who really loves and respects her and holds her in high regard. You see her family, and I just thought it was so typical of a family for her to be like, well, my brother was the one they liked the most, and I'm the First Lady, and they still asking about him. That is such a little sister, big brother dynamic. And that was so cute to me that, in her family dynamic, she's still the little sister, still still running behind their big brother. And I think that, you know, when you heard people talk about her, they talked about her in such a relatable way. Not that she was on a pedestal, but that she was their boss, clearly, but also someone that they could talk to. And how much of a self-confident person do you have to be to do that when you are the first lady? So what a fantastic documentary for a real beautiful, wonderful person. Pat, what'd you think?
God, I miss the Obamas.
I know, right?
Dude, I can tell you throughout this whole thing, I was just like, you know, I remember when they spoke complete sentences and didn't hate everybody and didn't, you know, man, I just, it was such a, you know, I loved it. I mean, but at the same time, it made me hate everything that was going on even that much worse, you know, because you become a little bit calloused. And then you see, wow, I remember this. This was pretty great. I remember they were just absolutely trying to take every bit of money we could and, you know, destroy everything. But here we are. So it you know, it is interesting to see how positive she is still. I mean, even after all the attacks, and they kind of hint at that, you know, people, all the shade she caught, you know, through that whole thing,
all the racism. Let's call it what it is.
Yeah.
Yep. Just all that, and she still seems to be a really good person. And I've never heard, you know, say what you want about all the people that are in public offices to a certain extent. I'd say most of the people that get jobs like that don't are the people you should never give that job to. I think, you know, the Obamas, it feels like, you know, after watching this, you know, that they were people that just needed to do it. They didn't want to do it, but somebody's got to do it. And I don't want any of these other yahoos doing it that want to do it. That's what the whole thing felt like, her talking about how they got, you know, their first day at the White House, all this sort of thing, you know. It was not anything that they wanted to do. It's just something they felt like they had to do. And God, I miss that in public service. Yeah. We don't have that anymore. And it's terrible. So if you want to remember a kinder, gentler time, you should watch this show, because you will all of a sudden just be that much more outraged about our current situation.
And remember when other countries didn't laugh at us or do stuff out of fear?
But Obama wore a tan suit.
With us? Remember those times? David, what'd you think?
Well, you know, I thought as a documentary, I thought this was really enjoyable. The former First Lady, I think, is a great protagonist for this story. Now, we've watched several documentaries. Some of them have been very much the point of view of the main person. I think we watched a really fun one on Eddie Murphy. We've seen, you know, John Candy had a really good one. We've seen those. So this one is in that vein, in that putting it with the book tour and all, there's clearly a point of view that is being projected here, which is fine. But, you know, there are some, like the Alabama solution, and all of these will have a certain point of view. There's more of a news aspect to this. But what this was, it was opening up in a very intimate, very real way, a very wonderfully strong American hero in a way. And I will use that term. One of the things, as someone who, you know, looking, and we compare and contrast, the Obamas were an excellent couple carrying out that role of head of state. The president is also, he's not just commander in chief. He is the head of state. Like in England, you had the Queen and the King. So, you know, he's wearing two hats with that. And as the head of state, you know, we might have some political discussions on some of his policies here or there. As a head of state, what a wonderful, I think, representative of this country. I was really touched. And obviously I'm like, okay, yeah, I know this is done with her blessing and her support and all of these things. So there's that angle there. But when you watch, you can't just manufacture somebody coming in hyperventilating and so just brought to tears to be in the room with someone. And that was beautiful to see. And when you think about, again, there's just a level of class and grace and elegance. And I don't think that's something, I know that the camera you can do a lot of things to cut and paste and make people at their strongest or at their worst. But the essence of this woman, I think the essence of this family, is really something to hold on to and be proud of. It's a beautiful story in that regard. A very accomplished woman. I think too, I don't want to belabor this, but I think back to some of the really important first ladies that we've had in this country. And with her character, her integrity, her the intelligence she had. I mean, my goodness, she's a Harvard grad, those kind of deals. I mean,
Harvard
that's
Law.
impressive. Oh yeah, no, yeah. She's
she might have been editor of the Law School Review.
That's a big freaking deal. She's a very intelligent, thoughtful woman. And I would throw in a couple of the key folks here. Eleanor Roosevelt, who was a great champion for civil rights and a great shield bearer for democracy during the Great Depression and World War II, just to help with the United Nations carry on her husband's dream. I think Ms. Obama has to be there when we're looking and comparing. She's there. Dolly Madison, who when Washington D.C. was under siege and they're burning the White House, she grabbed some of the key documents and took them and could watch on the Hill as the White House was being burnt before the storms hit that night. She's respectfully, I do think she's in that class. And they did portray whatever, people like, oh, I don't like it. Or, there's this myth of family values. This was a lovely family.
Yeah.
A beautiful family. They've stayed together. Had his mother-in-law in the White House. Nothing's going to keep you on the straight and narrow in everything you do. And lastly, I'll say this too, because you and I I won't say we've come to blows, but we've did disagreements about policy stuff with the Obama administration. These are wonderful people, and I have to say that by having Michelle Obama in his life, though he talked trash about my Wildcats when we were all at the White House together. That really speaks a lot well of him. That she married him and that they're this really successful couple. As a husband and wife, as parents, they've done this together beautifully under a magnifying glass, a microscope. You can't understand. I can't understand. I can't comprehend it. So I applaud them. Really a fun program to watch and something really to enjoy. And just last quick point here. My wife had a very brief but lovely interaction with the First Lady, leaving the gym once.
Lucky her.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. She didn't talk to her very long. They were like, "Oh, you've got to hurry up and get out of here." But a very nice warm moment there is moving around, heading out of the different locker room there in one of the spin clubs in the district. So another really good thing for.
She went to a public gym and did spin.
She did spin. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
She did. Now,
another reason you like her, because she's not in a private gym.
Oh my gosh, that's insane. I thought it was like an event or something. She at the spin class. Oh my gosh.
Now, obviously for security measures, she was coming near the end of the day, and they were like, okay, we're closing up shop. I mean, they were rushing my wife out of the locker room, but they still had a chance to exchange, and just as lovely and gracious as one would hope.
And she's a jock. Have you seen her workouts in the gym?
She kicks it. Yeah, my wife was really was blown away by her physique, no doubt. So there's a lot to be said there, but it was fun, great show, and I encourage people to watch this. it does make me want to do a compare and contrast
Yes,
with the other
yes.
documentary.
I'm trying to
I don't want to
figure
spend the
out
money to see
if
it,
we can do
but I
it.
want to see it.
Oh,
Oh, I'm not going to ever spend money on that.
yeah, that's what I'm trying to figure out how we can do it without
go straight to
spending money.
where. Hard,
I
hard
can't
pass.
conscience giving money to it.
Nope.
But
I don't even want to give time to it.
I do because
I kind of
want
want to too.
see.
I kind of
I
want
wanna
to.
see it
Hey, I'll go
to
watch car
see
wrecks on the
what-
road before I
I
do
just want to
this.
see the ridiculousness of it.
Yeah.
That's what I want to see because
I don't even want
it's
to see that.
nothing about it is
I will
you're
give
getting
nothing
a
to
true
them. Nope,
reflection
not
of
my
the person.
time. Hard pass.
Well, maybe
Gotcha.
it'll be me and David. We'll do it.
You and Dave
Okay.
have fun with that. 2 hours of your life you won't
Next
get back.
All right. Next up is Star Trek Starfleet Academy Cozine episode 7. Let's take a peek.
Attention, all cadets. Academy facilities are now closed for the All Worlds break. If you are departing by shuttle, please report to the shuttle bay. Otherwise, report to the Sato Atrium Mezzanine for transport.
Wait, yeah. Sorry, Kyle.
Declare yourself.
I declare only that it is a good day to die.
He's my cosine.
I am what?
It's like best man.
Best man?
Ugh, boring. Pat, what'd you think about it?
Well, we know what Pam would not like about it. Apparently, she, I mean, it's interesting to see the character development. I mean, first seasons of a lot of these shows, no matter whatever side eye roll and crap I'm getting to the person on my left, character development is going to happen. They're going to have to. There's all kinds of things going on. There's new races that we haven't seen, new worlds, new customs. It's different. Yes, it's different. That's not bad. We don't want to see the same thing every single time. So this was not the most exciting episode. Yes, I will agree with that.
After such a high last week.
Last week was really good. It was much more traditional Star Trek. That's why Pam likes it, because she's old and likes the old stuff. But the new stuff is different. So put away your snarky faces and just watch it. And it's not bad. They're developing new characters. They're developing new worlds or new stories. You don't have the same set of stories. This is obviously a teen-oriented story because it's a bunch of people that are just going through their college year or whatever you want to call it, early college, depending on how old they are, whatever their race. They may live 3,000 years. So, someone's 1,000 years old's there. Yay. But, the thing is, it was not their best episode. Yes. It was interesting to see some character development. You got to see kind of a nicer side to one of the characters who's been kind of just a total ass throughout the entire thing. And he still just kind of shifts back into it because it's comfortable, and it was interesting to see, different cultures. So I didn't love it. It wasn't bad. It was just not the best episode, but a lot of character development. I'm going to keep giving it chances.
My thing is, look, I think that the Kyra, I think she was dead on. Look, if you like men, please stop trying to hit on or be married straight women. We got enough problems. Leave us alone. She called him out. She didn't say that, but she's like, look, you're not the same. You love me, but you really like me. Why don't you go on and do you and let me go ahead and run this world and keep doing me. Don't get. And I was like, yes, finally. No, she didn't try to say, oh, for the good of our people, I need you to stay and we'll work it out. No, she's like, no, go on somewhere, beat it. I kind of thought she might get with her cozine. I mean, I kind of got that kind of thing. But I was like, oh, thank God that whole storyline ended. And shout out to Starfleet Academy for the first gay Klingon we've seen. And it's a really interesting dynamic. I want to see, and I'm glad to see that he had some warrior kind of spirit to him. He was ready to throw hands.
Yeah.
So I really appreciate the different levels they have with this character. So that's a plus, but it was a boring episode. And for that, I can't quite get there. But David, what'd you think?
Well, I'm similar to you guys. As a show, I go in every week with this mantra. I want to like this show. I want to like this show. I want to like this show. This episode definitely is not going to be one of those. If this show goes on and has a great success, this will not be one of the iconic great episodes to define it by any means. No. There are, in the world we're living in right now, I don't want to be as annoyed by the characters and the plot of this episode as I just am. I'm not feeling this. I'm really not. But I also know when I say too much of that, I'm going to be on the side with folks that I just can't stand. This was not a Star Trek episode I really enjoyed. But, I want to keep going and I want to keep watching it and I want to see what happens. But this was not an episode. And we're seeing a little bit of an arc here. I do like the fact that on Strange New Worlds, for the most part, we had a real episodic feel and much of an adventure. Yeah. And I do think that going back to these overarching things, I don't know. Finding his mom and this and so
you can get trapped too.
Keep trying. Yeah.
When you do that, then you also get trapped because when you go back to the reruns, they have this episode, but you needed to watch these 4 episodes to know what this episode.
That's a good point too.
It's not even bad if they have a season-long thing like the mom thing, like you talked about. But as long as they do it as a background issue, like I really miss my mom, but I just miss my mom. I miss my mom all the time, but I'm going to deal with what I got to deal with here. But I'm just going to throw it out every now and then as part of my makeup. This is part of who I am. My mom is missing, or I'm mad at my friend, or whatever. That's just kind of I don't mind the long season-long things as long as they're not the point, which Discovery did a bad job with it. That was their whole points. Unfortunately, a lot of times they were just, this is the thing, the whole season we're gonna do this plot, and I'm like,
I liked it up till the end, but definitely I think this episode kind of a miss for all of us, but we're still more than lukewarm on the Starfleet Academy series so far. So definitely check it out. And that will take us for this week. Next week, oh boy, we're starting up on our Oscar crawl. And so we'll have a few more things we're reviewing. And we are going to look at, but we got to look at the good stuff coming out. Paradise. Oh, season 2 drops next week. Also, Bridgerton, the second half of Bridgerton. I know I get a huge eye roll.
Good stuff, she said.
We'll also look at, for our Oscars, we'll look at Marty Supreme and The Singers on Netflix. And we'll come back to Starfleet Academy the following week. But we need to get some of these Best Picture and some of the Oscar picks in. It's coming up in 3 weeks, pretty much.
Wow.
3 weeks until the Oscars. So definitely we will be checking out. Listen, I did an eye roll this week. Patrick will do another eye roll next week. So it's the same thing. But definitely come and check us out. Hey, David, say goodnight to the people.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. We hope you have a wonderful week with friends and family. Stay warm, stay safe, and we'll see you next week.
Patrick, say goodnight to the people.
Good night, everybody. Get out there, make some good trouble, and have a great week.
It's Black History Month, so definitely fight the power, and we'll see you next time. Take care. Bye.
for you.